Hello everyone, I am Randy Suarez, aka Silva today, back here with another amazing reaction. This time I am back with another nostalgia critic, and I tell you, just like last week, if I was going to start this one, the first one, which is the Fellowship of the Ring, I might as well go through them all. So we're back with another nostalgia critic, Lord of the Rings, and the second one, The Two Towers. And also this was requested by the same one who requested the first one, so shout out to you. I can't wait to get into this, and yes, I am wearing this Burger King crown. I'll be wearing this the whole entire thing, so laugh, ha 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 ha. But anyway, if you like any of this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Awesome. I will leave the original link to this video down below, so watch out uninterrupted. Link to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me on those social platforms. Link to my Cashapp. Feel gracious enough to donate whatever you want to donate. It's fine. Don't. That's fine as well. Same thing as soup. Thanks. But by donating, like, comment, subscribe, sharing, all the good stuff, how you show your support, lets me know you rock with the reaction content, rock with the channel, and rock with your boy. But further ado, buckle up, and let's get started. Alright, we here with another nostalgia critic, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. So yes, like I said in the beginning, and it's like I said last week, we might as well finish this all of it off. Might as well keep going, alright? But here we go.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. When Fellowship of the Ring came out, a lot of people I know said, yeah, that was a good movie. And then 1 year later, when Two Towers came out, everyone I know said, yeah, that was a good movie.
Now, I actually remember watching this. Well, I think I remember watching this I watched this in theaters. Like, I was like, again, back when this came out, I was like, ooh, I was in like elementary. Dude, I'm 32 now. I was just heading to like 2 years.
Where I described Fellowship as an impressive film, but ultimately a proof of concept, Two Towers is the flick that said, okay, enough fooling around. Let's make people really give a shit. This is the film that got people going, yeah, I'll check out the next one, to why do I have to wait a whole year for the next one? Where am I supposed to get my Gollum fix? Dobby?
Dobby's a f***ing
Whoa.
Despite splitting up the characters and introducing even more people and conflicts, the grouping of stories actually made the pacing a little better and allowed the audience to really see the impact these situations were having on our leads. There wasn't as big a rush to introduce so many characters and go from place to place. Here, there are only 2 things you were really supposed to care about. Rohan, the hobbits, and if there's time, maybe a talking tree. And even that you really end up caring about. Like with all the films, though, it isn't perfect. There's still some characters being done wrong, like... Oof. Stop shitting on Gimli. Why? Why are you doing this? But still, this was a huge step up from the last one, which was already pretty impressive. As before, there's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. Let's look at a story about Two Towers that weirdly doesn't have much Two Towers in it. Let's take a look at it. Two Towers. The film opens with a dream sequence with Frodo remembering what happened to Gandalf. Even though I'm not sure how his subconscious saw all this happen, but who cares, this intro somehow managed to out-badass the previous one. Am I crazy, or did they sing Bon Voyage there? I guess it's better than singing.
Just a dream.
Frodo wakes up, though. Both him and Sam continue their journey to Mordor.
This other stuff, it's not bad. Nothing ever dampens your spirits, does it, Sam?
I can think of something I'd like to get dampened.
Oh, God.
They realize they're going around in circles, though, and start to put together they're being followed.
What's that orange stink? Can you smell it? Yes, I can smell it.
Sorry, I put a little chipotle on that elven bread. They're approached by Gollum, played by Andy Serkis, who half the time looks very CG, but it's still good CG for 2002, and the other half of the time...
No, if it's 2000, yeah, I literally was in the 4th grade. Wow. Ooh.
I swear he's really there. Part of that could be they made a last-minute choice to use the shots where Serkis was standing in because the performances were better with Ashton Wood. And I think doing so helped the animators figure out the lighting and texture better. I mean, think about it. This is over 20 years old, and look at this. That's not a CG head, that is Gollum's head. That's not a CG arm, that is Gollum's arm. He 100% looks like he's there on set.
We be nice to them if they be nice to us. Take it over.
At first I was a little concerned about the voice.
Yeah.
But maybe the idea was the rope was choking him in this scene. And as the performance goes on, it sounds less like a boo being swallowed by Donald Duck and more like a voice of a person who's been around for several centuries.
I hate you. I hate you.
Using the shots with Circus also allows more of his performance to shine through. As when you compare him in the first film to the second, you can see they definitely worked in much more of his facial features. This character won so many people over, they debated whether or not Circus should get an Oscar nomination, despite him technically never being seen on camera. I don't know, I think a special Oscar for him and the CGI team would have worked, similar to what they did with Disney and his achievement on Snow White. And I guess the MTV Movie Award will have to be enough.
And Peter Jackson, who do you think you are?
Hey,
Shame on you! Go yourself!
Sorry to keep cutting it. It's the best acceptance speech ever. Gollum agrees to show them the way to Mordor while Merry and Pippin are catching a ride on the Uber-Kai. Thank you. Remember, 2-drink minimum.
What do you smell? Man flesh.
Ooh, half of Kevin Spacey's text. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli followed them through the shots and made everyone at least Google how much a New Zealand vacation is.
The Uruk's turn northeast. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Well, it doesn't have nearly the same meme bait as potatoes, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Saruman's forces start invading several parts of Middle-earth, forcing families to separate.
You take your sister.
Papa says Aragorn must not fight Geralt.
What the hell did that kid say?
For real.
Papa says Aragorn must not fight Geralt.
This is in our Tolkien language. Ease. Our heroes enter the kingdom of Rohan, where King Theoden, played by Bernard Hill, has clearly never recovered from arguing if Jack could fit on that wooden frame. Carl Urban plays Aeromir, Miranda Otto plays Eowyn, who tell the king his son is seriously injured by Saruman's army, but the king's aide named Grimer Wormtongue, who, get this, is also bad in this, tells him that's not true.
His name is Grimer Wormtongue. I'm expecting you to be evil.
Saruman the White has ever been our friend and ally.
He's played by Brad Dourif, wearing a Play-Doh mask from the Gary Oldman and Danny DeVito villains playset.
How long is it since Saruman bought you? What was the promised price, Screamer?
One day, I'll be a blonde. Grimer banishes Aeromir, but he continues to hunt down and kill Saruman's army, bumping into our heroes crossing into Rohan.
Speak quickly. Give me your name, Horsemaster, and I shall give you mine.
Okay, every once in a while, Gimli has a cool moment. There's even occasionally a funny moment when it feels less forced.
The trees are speaking to each other.
Gimli, lower your axe.
I would cut off your head if it stood but a little higher from the ground.
You would die before your stroke fell.
I also like Legolas sticks up for him. Like they have a rivalry, but when it really counts, they do have each other's backs.
Yeah.
Track a party of Uruk-hai westward across the plain.
Aeromir tells him, though, that they found the Uruk-hai they were chasing and left none alive. So it's unlikely the hobbits they're looking for survived.
We piled the carcasses and burned them.
Dead.
I'm sorry.
I'd give you a hug if your head stood but a little taller from the ground. They make their way there, but aren't able to find them.
It's one of their belts.
Fun fact, Mortensen. Oh, everybody's talked about the toast story. It became a meme. Well, did you know why kids love the taste of cinnamon toast crunch? Oh, it's also a meme?
Yeah.
Well, have you seen B movie? Aragorn tracks their footsteps, though, and realizes they may still be alive.
A hobbit lay here. Their hands were bound. Their bonds were cut.
Yes, they were bound, unbound, bound again, and then unbound. Okay, the editing in this is a lot better, but they're still goof-ups.
What madness drove me there?
A flashback shows they were chased into the forest until they discover an unusual creature.
I am an end.
Tree herder.
Treebeard, some call me.
I stalked many a Ronald McDonald play place.
Oh God, no.
John Rhys Davies also does the voice of Treebeard, which surprisingly isn't that distracting. And he says he has to take him to the White Wizard.
The White Wizard.
Admittedly, this is a pretty clever fake out, except for the fact that they put his face on all the advertising and trailers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they really wanted to build the suspense of him coming back, they could have not do that.
You see, movies were red hulking it even before Brave New World.
Dead faces in the water.
Elves and men and orcs.
Meanwhile, Sam and Frodo are led through the dead marshes, where the power of the ring is too much for Frodo and he falls into a scary stories illustration.
Oh God.
saves him, which quickly creates an interesting setup, like maybe he's not as evil as we're led to believe, as Frodo and him form a strong bond, both being possessed by the ring. I didn't even notice until this time around that at the same time Frodo is petting the ring in his hand, Gollum is doing the same thing, despite literally nothing being there. The Black Riders pimped up their ride, though, and continued to search for
Damn.
him.
I thought they were dead.
I see what you did there. Because at the time, Pimp My Ride, yeah, I see what you did there. Alright.
No, you cannot kill them, no.
Unless you're a chick for some strange-ass loophole.
Back in the forest, our heroes run into Gandalf back from the dead, as he reveals what happened. Except how he fell into a lake and ended up at the top of a mountain, but the books have appendixes for every time a dragon queefs. I'm sure they explain that there too.
Darkness took me.
He says he died but was sent back until his task was done because his BFF seemed to make it work, and he beckons them to King Theoden, who is in need of their aid. It's impressive through the backstory and visuals how quickly you care for these people and what they used to be / still could be. The music alone has a quiet yet epic weight that can work either as a dignified...
Here's the thing, I always say this, when it comes to films like this, music in general, when it comes to instrumental, can make or break a movie. And if I have to give it one thing to The Lord of the Rings, it, like, if the movie was already good, it skyrocketed the trilogy.
funeral or as a triumphant return. Speaking of which, Gandalf tries to return Theoden to his original glory, but the sorcery of Saruman tries to cling on.
I will draw you, Saruman, as poison is drawn from a wound.
Be healed! Hallelujah! Istaria, Christ compels you!
Oh shit, he leveled up. Wonder if that Bombadil fellow can up my XP.
Again, in possibly too literal an interpretation, the shadow of Saruman leaves and he's back to his normal self.
I know your face.
Susan, right?
Susan.
Ooh! Tries to kill Grimer for all that he's done, but Aragorn stops him.
Enough blood has been spilled on his account.
Yes, let him give Saruman all our secrets so even more blood can be spilled on his account. But do they not have a prison there?
Where is my son?
After Theoden cries over the death of his son in a really well-written and well-acted moment, the kids from before arrive and tell him about the growing army.
They were unarmed. Now the wild men are moving through the Westfold.
This is but a taste of the terror that Saruman will unleash.
But what does Gimli have to add? And yet Snow White is the most offensive film to dwarves. And it will be.
It will be, yeah.
This is me, because I didn't eat.
Alright, before I skip more into this, I guess, who actually went to go see Snow White? Because if some of y'all say that it wasn't that bad, it's gonna be kind of hard to justify your actions.
Why?
Theoden says his kingdom must venture to Helm's Deep where he believes he can protect everybody, as Frodo becomes more occupied with saving Gollum.
I want to help him, Sam.
Why?
Because I have to believe he can come back.
We have too much in common. Our big, weird, freaky eyes for a start. They run across the armies of Dolly. And even though it's in the book, I do think it's smart they kept this little preview of these things. I get the feeling if they just showed up in the third film, people would be like, wait, there's freaking heffalumps in this? They're captured, though, by Boromir's brother, Faramir, played by David Wenham. But who cares? Gimli's being silly again.
It was deliberate.
Can we drop by Willow's house and make a trade?
For real.
They're attacked suddenly by one of the lamer effects in the movie. These hyena rancors. And our heroes impossible themselves on their horses and fight. Oh, we now have a smell bad joke from Gimli. 2 more bodily functions and he'll be a Big Mama's House sequel. Aragorn gets caught on one of the wolves, though, just running off a cliff as animals instinctually do.
Leave the dead.
Well, I'm keeping the jewelry. Meanwhile, after Saruman invents bombs. Not in the book, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
He greets his army of
I mean, it's 2002. You know, at the end of the day, still leaning towards the action a bit more.
Extraordinary magnitude.
There is no such force.
I've been here for days. How did I miss this? Follow-up question. How'd they see that small-ass wave all the way in the back? To war! They're sent to Helm's Deep as well. Gandalf wasn't dead. Merry and Pippin weren't dead. I guess Aragorn could be not dead too. I go back and forth on this as it doesn't seem to add that much to the story.
It doesn't.
But I guess it does give him time to not only get back on his feet, but also debate who his heart belongs to, seeing how Éowyn seems to have the hots for him, and Arwen is debating if she should skip her trip to the Grey Havens and stay with him. It's time to look beautifully at things and speak gibberish.
By the sword or the slow decay of time, Aragorn will die.
This scene is amazing. In the first film, I was at best indifferent to Arwen being in it, but this moment showing her life if she strays, all alone after Aragorn eventually dies, is masterfully done.
But you, my daughter, you will linger on as nightfall in winter that comes without a star.
It takes the words right out of the appendix of the book and puts it right at the center of her dilemma, creating a beautifully melancholy moment of mourning a life well lived, but not being able to join him due to being immortal. It's hands down my favorite scene in the movie. Well, I got every father's wish, giving a speech to his daughter that keeps her away from boys. Go me. Even the appearance of Galadriel feels less like a forced cameo like in a Marvel movie and a good sum up of how urgent things are becoming. Even that painting of man defeating evil now changes perspective to look more like man being overpowered by evil.
Frodo begins to understand. The quest will claim his life.
So says my very vague doublespeak I won't go into more detail about.
Yeah.
Faramir's story almost works as someone who wants to redeem himself in the eyes of his father and match the glory of his fallen brother, as he plans to do so by getting the ring to his kingdom, which is falling apart.
The ring will go to Gondor.
That's just one problem. We have no idea why he's doing any of this. Like, sure, to save his people, but we just did this with Boromir. How is this any different? How is it not repeating? Well, I feel like every film's extended version has at least one crucial missing scene, and for this film, this is the one, showing how loved his brother was and how much his father dismissed him, thinking bringing in the ring and saving the day will earn his father's love.
Ever the ring will seek to corrupt the hearts of lesser men, but you...
If there's need to go to Rivendell, send me in his stead.
I trust this mission only to your brother, the one who will not fail me.
Without this scene, he just looks like a jerk, redoing the exact same arc Boromir went through, just not as interesting. Yeah. Oh wow, he's giving up the ring at the end. So what? He's being a dick to begin with.
Yeah.
But this scene really makes us sympathize with what he's doing, especially after he finds out his brother's dead. There are some good moments, though, like Frodo betraying Gollum so he doesn't get killed, yet he still gets beaten horribly. As you may have observed, pretty much everything with Gollum in this movie is flawless. Except that yell. That yell's a little dumb.
Yeah.
And I will say Aragorn's fake death seems warranted just for this one shot alone.
It's a pretty cool shot.
That was awesome.
It is. It is.
Meanwhile, Treebeard discusses with his fellow Ents if it makes sense for them to go to war against Saruman.
This is the forest of no return.
I knew you were going to play that,
Critic. They need to call Gondor for aid, but Theoden says Gondor knows what it did and refuses. This leads to one of the best build-ups of any battle in any movie.
The days have gone down in the west, behind the hills, into shadow.
So much time is dedicated to making it look like this might be their Alamo. This image of a helmet being put on a kid's head is branded into my memory. It's the ultimate, oh my god, this shit is serious. You feel the dread in both the articulate moments and the quiet moments. It's amazing how much you want to see an epic fight, but don't want to see anything happen to anyone either.
Not the Daggerthyre.
Then I shall die as one of them.
And then, you know, there's dumb Gimli shit.
It's a little tight across the chest.
What's even that look? Like, well, grow smaller tits. What am I supposed to take away from that?
That is no Orcorn.
At the time Tolkien fans really lost their shit when some elves were sent to help with the battle, and I honestly could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's nice seeing a small army of men fight for themselves, but it's also nice seeing not every elf is leaving and some stay behind because they believe in their fight. I mean, for God's sake, there was a version where Arwen was there, almost completely contradicting the amazing scene she had before. That would have been a bad move. Out of all the problems this series has, I don't know why fans chose this nothing burger to obsess over. Especially when there's...
Could have picked a better spot.
Because he's short. Shut up!
Hey, I find it funny.
The ironic thing is, this battle is so well built up and feels so real that when it finally begins, it doesn't feel real enough. What I mean is, every time I start to really get into it, something dumb happens to ruin the flow. For example, constantly interrupting the adrenaline rush with Treebeard literally sleep-talking through his scenes.
We have just agreed.
But, okay, you could argue that's part of the point. People are dying and they're not doing anything. It's supposed to be frustrating. You get the king not really being a great decision maker and instead talking like he's tweeting during an MMA fight.
So it begins. Is this it? Is this all you can conjure, Saruman?
Your men are dying, asshole. Stop penis measuring your army size. I also think they break open the wall way too early. You want to have that be a big, oh no, we're gonna lose moment, but it happens 5 minutes in. And 2 of those minutes are focused on Treebeard, so it's more like 3 minutes.
If the wall is breached, Helm's Deep will fall.
3 minutes later.
And man, for a battle they're trying to convince us they could lose and everyone could die, everyone is too goddamn invincible. Our main characters literally throw themselves into this army of super soldiers, instant death, not once, not twice, but 3 times and never get a scratch on them. The only one that bites the dust is Lothlorien's chubbiest elf, which honestly feels like a token death to make up for the fact that none of the main characters are getting hurt. With that said, what, am I supposed to pretend there's not a ton of awesome here too?
Nah.
The sheer size of this battle is so impressive, mixing CG with practical effects, the awesome cinematography showing its epic scale and how much was really there.
One shot, by the way.
The director having himself take out one of the Uruk-hai. This awesome edit. Now, I'm not blind, there's a ton of really cool stuff. I just wish it wasn't interrupted with...
Toss me. Don't tell the elf.
Look what they've done to my dwarf. It makes up for
That's
it
pretty
in the end,
good.
though, as once again, you do feel the urgency and that this might be their last ride to their doom. This is the only one where they can be a little untouchable because it looks like they're about to die in literally 2 seconds. However, Gandalf appears exactly an hour and a half later to save the day, so you legit forgot he was even in the movie, despite him being such a major plot point earlier. Now, that's just damn good pacing. Time for some Carl Urban renewal! Also, the Ents, after seeing Saruman destroy their forest, decide to go to war as well. Not sure how their slow language took all night to discuss not going to war, but then 1 syllable can change their minds, but whatever, this fight's amazing.
Ooh.
This battle isn't even 1/5 as long as Helm's Deep, but by God, it shows nothing but the best moments, and it's so goddamn cool.
Oh!
Save a tree. Wipe your ass with an orc.
Wait, is Poseidon here?
Boromir takes Sam and Frodo to Osgiliath, where Sam finally tells him Boromir died trying to take the ring. Why didn't you bring that up to him days earlier?
What are you doing?
But one of the riders tries to take the ring from Frodo, who's so possessed he starts to comply. Sam stops him, though, in one of the more intense scenes. I think most people in this moment were like, oh my God, the faculty kid's gonna kill Rudy.
Can't do this, Sam.
He snaps him out of it, and Sam makes a speech that there are some things worth fighting for.
It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here.
Tell me about it!
It's only a passing thing. This shadow. Even darkness must pass.
I guess a lot of people at the time connected this speech to being pro the Iraq War, which was going on. I think the idea was more self-defense than invade where your most wanted enemy isn't, but I don't know. Maybe Tolkien would have liked freedom fries, I'm not sure.
Sauron's wrath will be terrible, his retribution swift. The battle for Middle-earth is about to begin.
At the end of part 2 in a 3-part trilogy. You're making the Hobbit movie sound short. Faramir lets Sam and Frodo go as they partake in some of the lamer writing in the movie.
Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam. You shouldn't make fun. I was being serious. So was I.
But Gollum has plans for how to get his revenge.
Could let do it.
We let the first one end a few pages late. We can let this one end a few pages early.
And that was The Two Towers. This is when the movies went from good to awesome. Almost all the little problems the previous film had aren't here. The pacing is much better. You feel everyone's emotional struggle. Nobody feels shoehorned in. And the changes from the book, for the most part, seem to make sense when adapting into a movie. Again, there's little issues here and there, but that's to be expected in something this massive based on something else even more massive. For what these people had to bring to the screen, they truly did go above and beyond. In fact, a lot of people were wondering how on Middle-earth they were going to top it. Well, we'll answer that next week as Lord of the Ring month is coming to a close. Oh, don't worry, coming to a close still means several goddamn endings. I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Dummy's a f***ing
Oh, to have a freaking Golem just cursing. I forgot that even existed. Wow, okay. But yeah, when it comes to Lord of the Rings, like, when it comes to, I guess, anything that deals with the trilogy, you have to bump it up a notch to keep, basically, the consumers, like myself, entertained. But you also have to be faithful towards the book majority. But I digress. But let me know your thoughts about, Lord of the Rings in general. And same thing with like last week. I will continue to with the third one. So if you like any of this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Awesome. I will leave the original link to this video down below so watch it uninterrupted. Until next time, please take care of yourself. Stay hydrated, stay safe, stay warm. Peace out.
And little questions is everything they know about you.